Hey guys, and welcome back to Ask Mark. Thank you for watching. Safe diving. No, guys, this is number 48, so we're nearly at the year mark. Yeah, fun times. How are you today, Mark? You all right?
All right, I'm cold. I had to defrost the car when I was walking the dogs this morning.
Lovely.
We're definitely heading into winter.
It's the best time of year, mate.
Yeah.
Cool.
I prefer this to like the heat of summer, but yeah, no, such is life.
Such is life. All is good. Awesome. Right, before we crack on to the questions, there is going to be an announcement in this episode or next episode of Deco Stop. So I'm not going to announce it in this video, but if you're not familiar with our podcast, it's definitely worth going to check that out. There'll be a link to it down below. It goes live on Saturday morning, or if you like the video version, it goes live on YouTube on Sunday morning, where we have an announcement. I wouldn't say it's exciting. It's just stuff's happening.
It will make you
behind the scenes.
gasp.
So,
And you can put your comments down in the comments below. That would be quite fun.
what is it? Yeah, let us know. And then we'll see if it matches up. But yeah, I'll put a link to our podcast down below. And as I say, Saturday morning at 10, that's when it goes live on SoundCloud. So maybe give it a couple of minutes or half an hour for it to obviously go live wherever you listen to your other podcasts. Yeah, you can find the link for that down below. With that announcement over, let's go straight to the questions. So the first question is from Mark. Why are you asking your own question? Why are you asking yourself your own question, Mark?
There's more than one Mark in this world.
Anyway, Mark says, hi, Mark and Sean. Hello. What's the best way to do a safety stop in poor conditions of low vis, high current and swell? I get that sometimes it's best not to do a safety stop, but given that it's not that bad, would a John line help? And what are the best types? Is it worth getting one with a special open clip on it or on one end, or is it a bolt snap and a loop, or is a bolt snap and loop okay? I've seen the videos of you making your own. Sorry, Sean. It's all right. Or even using a dog leash. I'd love to hear your wisdom on this. Okay, so yeah, John Lyons, mate, help him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a John line requires some kind of vertical or relatively vertical attachment point, like a shot line or an anchor line or something. If you do have that, then yeah, John lines make your life a lot easier, so you're not just hanging on like Mary Poppins. But yeah, I mean, this is actually an old dog leash, and yeah, you basically wrap that end around the line so that it holds in position, doesn't slide up and down. The other end just has a bolt snap on it, and that just clips off to the D-ring, just sort of on the front of your crotch strap, and yeah, you just kind of let go and just kind of drift there for a bit. It does make your life a lot easier instead of literally holding on. But if you don't have that, then just get your SMB up as soon as possible, so people on the surface know exactly where you are and they can track you in the water. I don't think I'd skip a safety stop. I mean, unless it's particularly bad weather. Once you're 4 or 5 meters under the water, it's still fairly stable. In strong current, though, and if you're holding onto a DSMB, then yeah, that will sort of yank up and down. But yeah, in strong current, yeah, you really want to be like hanging onto something or with an SMB above you, so that people on the surface can actually see where you are. I wouldn't worry about any special clips or anything, just a traditional bolt snap. If it is a dog leash, do make sure that it's like marine grade, because of course they're not going to put the fanciest of the fancy sort of bolt snaps on it. There are some manufacturers that do make John lines, and of course if it's for diving, then yeah, they'll use marine grade metals so they don't rust over time. But yeah, the best case scenario is attach yourself onto something relatively solid, and just kind of like hang it out. Because otherwise, don't ever swim against it. You're just going to get tired, and you're just going to end up like disappearing. But yeah, if you can, try and find somewhere quiet, and do it there. But yeah, no fancy carabiner clips or anything, because they can just be a pain to unclip afterwards. Yeah, whereas a traditional bolt snap, you know exactly what you're doing, and they're pretty easy to use even with gloves.
They're not. They're really complicated. We should ban them. You know, bolt snaps hate fish and marine life.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. It's just a fact. It's just a fact.
Was there a scientific paper on that? Was it?
Before anyone tries to disprove that, let's move on to the. Anyway, no. John Lyons, guys and girls, do you use them? What are your tips and tricks? Is there anything else that you do that Mark hasn't said? Let us know in the comments below, please. Second question is from Lutong. What up, dude? Or dudette? They say, possible to trim longer fins. I'm wearing the Avanti Quattro Plus so far. It works well. Just wondering, is it wise to do so? So yeah, cutting your fins, is it wise?
This is quite an old discussion. I mean, they are specific shape and design for a reason. That's been tested. I've had someone, they literally walked into the dive center with their existing fins. They were Oceanic Viper fins, and literally just asked for like a pair of shears or something, and just whoosh, cut the tips off, only about 2 inches or something, and just made them that little bit shorter. It depends on the fins. Ideally, you want something with a really chunky rail down the side, because the shorter you make it, the more overspill you get over the sides, where the water, instead of going down towards the tip, it just goes around, so you're greatly reducing the forward propulsion. But they'll still work. They won't be as efficient. They're going to be a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller, so packing them is a bit easier. But I wouldn't do it with a fancy pair of fins. I'd have like a pair of backups, just in case, because they have that specific design for a reason. They'll still work. They just won't be as efficient. You can do whatever you want with your equipment. You won't be the first person who's ever done it. Put it that way. I've seen plenty of people.
I want to buy some fins and stick lasers on them.
Just cover them in mirrors.
Yeah, Diamante. There's going to, a couple of years ago there was a vajazzle. You're going to have finazzle.
Fajazzling,
mate.
Yeah, this is quite a long debate, and there are quite a few
it's not if you cut it.
On diving forums, this question has been asked a fair amount of times. People do it. I've never done it. The manufacturers have done it. The Hollis did it with the F1 LT. That is literally the F1 bat fin, just cut a little bit shorter. I can't remember if the material is slightly different, but it's basically the same mold, just cut 2 inches shorter.
Spoilers.
Yeah. But yeah, you can do it, but it's not the best thing to ever do. If you do need a shorter pair of fins, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because my whole thing, my take on this would be that if you were to cut your fins, you're jeopardizing the actual structure of the fin, because like you say, they've been designed, they've been molded to that shape, so the best performance would be as that shape. Obviously, because if you don't
have the entire blade sort of acting as resistance in the water, it's most blades are designed to bend to get a more efficient angle of attack during both parts of the fin kick. So if you don't have that much resistance on it, it's not going to be as efficient at getting that angle as well. So you're cutting it short, you're going to greatly reduce the efficiency of the fin. They'll still move you through the water, but the more you cut off, it's like exponential. You're going to lose a lot more efficiency the further down you go.
Yeah. All right. Let's open up a can of worms, guys and girls down below. Cut your fins, shouldn't cut your fins. Have you done it? Let us know your results below, please. Let's have a respectful debate about it in the comments. Anyway, next question is from Michael. He says, "Hey, Sean and Mark. Hello. Last year, I purchased an off-the-shelf DUI Coronado. I can't even read that.
Coronado.
Coronado, yeah, dry suit with built-in socks. Lovely. This dry suit is only available with latex neck seal. I dove it successfully for a year, and now my neck seal is leaking. I've lost a few pounds, but not that much to make the seal loose, especially around your neck or your wrists. That's a bit weird.
You never know.
Anyway, I tried using my bio seal to tighten it up, but it's still leaking. I have a new seal and would like to know how to cut and size it without this problem happening within the next 12 months. So he's having issues with his seals. Help him out.
So the first thing is that latex stretches continuously over its lifetime. So the more you use it, the less springy it's going to get. So your first port of call is to avoid cutting it unless you absolutely have to. With a brand new neck seal, they're usually pretty tight, they'll choke you out. So if you get something that's a little bit bigger than your neck, just kind of measure the circumference, and it's usually like a 12-litre cylinder or something. Nothing too big, you don't want to make it too big and baggy, but something just a little bit bigger than your neck, and then literally stretch the neck seal over that, put whatever it is sort of up there, and just leave it for about 24 hours or something, overnight at least, and that just stretches the latex so it can just relax, and then try it on. If that's okay, perfect, you haven't had to do any kind of cutting. If it's still too tight, you'll notice ribs, kind of circular lines all the way around the neck seal. These are guides for you. If you can, try and use something solid that you can put the neck seal around, ideally something fairly conical. Like a traffic cone or something that's been legally acquired, and kind of stretch it over that gently, and then cut just around one of those lines, but only do one section at a time. Don't cut off 2 or 3 or anything, just do one, take it off, try it on, spend some time in it, a good like half hour. If it's cutting off blood flow, then go back and cut another one off. Cutting is always your last resort. It should always be that stretch. Make sure that it's stretched first, because when they're brand new, they're really tight, and then eventually they do stretch over time, which is probably what's happened to your neck seal. So yeah, get something that's a little bit bigger than your neck, only like a centimetre or 2 larger in circumference. Stretch it over that overnight or for an entire day, and that should loosen up your latex neck seal. And then, if it's still too tight, cut off one band at a time.
Cool, excellent.
Yeah, Latex is a pain. It's good, but
Tell me about it.
It does age. And yeah, the older it gets a little bit looser. And if you leave it in storage too long without sort of preparing it, and it's touching itself, it literally melts into itself. It's a bit of a pain of a material, but it does the job.
Cool, excellent. Have you got any other tricks and tips? I mean, they're pretty standard, aren't they? The stretching and the cutting. But yeah, if you know of, like, if you chant something and then burn some incense, it might do something to the latex to make it fit.
I mean, BioSeal is a great shout, and it seems that helped you out. It's like a jelly collar that you put on first, and then the latex seal over the top of it.
We used to sell them, didn't we?
We still sell them, I think, if we still got stock of them. It's a very weird material, but they are lovely. And if you react to latex neck seals like I do, they are a godsend, because the latex never actually touches your skin. So yeah, BioSeal, look it up. They're great. If they're still on the website, Sean will pop a link on, because he's good at that.
All right, yeah. Will do. No, definitely. I remember that stuff. I swear, I at one point, I don't know whether it was a stock or something, but I kind of slung it at the wall to see if it would stick, and it did.
It's that kind of
thing. Is that all you got to do is look at it, and then literally it's like covered in dust, or your eyelashes. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's a jelly, very stretchy. I don't know what they've made it out of, but yeah, it's very weird, especially when you first pull it out of the little tub.
It's unicorn tears mixed in with PVA glue.
Ugh, God knows.
If you guys know what BioSeal is made out of, let us know in the comments below. Anyway, let's move on to question number 4, which is from Caleb. He says, how does it... I don't know why I started. Yeah, words and things. How does it look after the second or third dive when the line gets twisted? So this is based off of the Lifeline spool. So the Apex Lifeline spool, the thread itself, how does it look after you've used it after a couple of dives? Does it still get twisted, or does it still look pristine as it does when it comes out of the box?
It does. I mean, this is my one. This is the 30-meter one. It does lay pretty flat, and it's pretty neat. With a lot of spools, when you get them brand new, they're wound on by a machine, so it's all really nice concentric lines. It's really neat and tidy. So then when you do it, when you're in the water with your big clunky gloves, then they all kind of twist over and whatnot. But actually, it's not that bad, and it's very easy to manage because it is a tape. It's a flat tape instead of a round line. It naturally like sort of folds over on itself, and it's quite easy to like separate the lines. I love it to bits. I do have some pretty basic sort of spools, just with normal like 2mm line. But yeah, this stuff is actually really easy to manage. And yeah, when you're winding it back on, it doesn't take up any extra space. It does wind back on pretty neatly. I mean, here's my little 15-meter. I'll probably use that one more when I'm diving in warmer waters. But yeah, it is perfectly fine. I prefer tape, that sort of flat line compared to a round one. And touch wood, I've never had an issue with it. It does the job, and yeah, very, very effective.
Awesome. Also, flat lines, fabric or rope makes fantastic for laces. It's much better than round laces.
Yeah,
because you can tie them off and the knot stays there. Anyway, cool. Anyone out there? Any issues with flat lock or flat lines on your DSMB or that real spool thing? Yeah, that thing, that thingy-majiggy round circular thing.
One of these.
Any issues? As I say, let us know. Or no issues at all. You're amazed by how flat and smooth it is in the spool. Let us know in the comments below. Right. So the next question mark is from channel regular Emma. Hey, Emma. She left this question on the Mare XR Active heated vest.
Yes.
Is that one of our videos? It must be.
Yeah, we stock it.
Cool. I'm glad I know our stuff. Emma says, I'm really interested in buying one of these, but I'm concerned about if I ever get a dry suit or if the dry suit gets flooded. What is wrong with me today?
Yeah, batteries, electricity, water, bad. So the active heating vest from Mare XR, it's basically a waistcoat with heating elements built into it. I think they're only on the back. Could be wrong, but I think it's only along the back. And you have 2 internal batteries. So it's designed to be worn either out of the water, keep yourself nice and warm, great for dog walking, or underneath a dry suit as part of your undersuit. It's not particularly thin. It's not particularly thick. It is quite thin. But then, yeah, you press those buttons. You can control like the temperature level. You can just set it to low just to do a little bit of warmth, but a long burn time. Or you can set it like really high, so it's like really hot. If they flood, now Mares are quite quiet about sort of responding to these kind of questions. So in my mind, don't. They basically say when you're washing the garment, remove the batteries, obviously, but then there's a waterproof cap for the connector. What that tells me is that it's not a waterproof connection. So if you do have a catastrophic flood, you're probably going to damage it. So it's only really suitable for if you completely trust your dry suit. It can probably cope with a bit of moisture. If you get a little bit of a leak, it should be fine. But yeah, if it's like a catastrophic leak, then it probably is going to start damaging, because electrical currents and salt water, they react. So yeah, only if you trust your dry suit a fair amount. That's why most divers, they end up going down the external battery route, something like the Santee. So you have an external, it's much more expensive, but you have wet connectors, the battery's on the outside. If something goes wrong with it, you can literally disconnect it whilst you're in the water. And yeah, the battery is completely separate, and it's watertight as well. Even if your dry suit does flood, it's not an issue, because yeah, it's all wet connectors. But yeah, I had a good look around to try and see if there was any like official stance on like, yeah, it's splash proof or something. Doesn't mention it in the manual, doesn't mention it sort of very much online. So in my mind, I'd kind of be a little bit wary of it. So it's only if you trust your dry suit impeccably that it doesn't leak.
And like I said, you can buy them at SimplyScuba.com. No.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always a concern when they don't mention stuff, because that generally means it's either not been properly tested or it doesn't work. So they're like, no, okay, we just won't mention it, which is a bad thing to do.
Yeah, it's tough, because you can't like promise something.
No.
And it is a matter of, yeah, this is like a quite a big product for a lot of divers. So if you say, yeah, it'll be fine, but only if you do it above a certain depth or a certain amount of water or something, then it's really hard to quantify and then prove it after the fact, especially with warranty and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they are going to be a little bit vague when it comes to this kind of stuff, which usually means it's better to err on the side of caution.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, have they got the XR Active heated vest? Have you had any issues with the battery being internal rather than external? Would love to hear what you say down below, please, because again, it's going to help out other people in future generations, and you know, down the line. Yeah, it just makes more sense. And if there isn't that many comments or queries about it or answers about it, this might be the video that will help people out in the future. So it's a big win-win. So question number 6 is from Christopher, and it's about the Aqualung i300C. Does it track the heartbeat? Couldn't find this information elsewhere. Thanks.
No. Heart rate monitors are pretty rare on dive computers. I think it's because a lot of dive computers you wear over a wetsuit or over a dry suit. So trying to get a heart rate monitor through 5mm of neoprene is pretty impressive. So yeah, it's not a big... There are dive computers that do it. You get the Garmin, the Descent Mark II. I actually have one here. But of course that only works when it's worn against your skin. So you have to... So for cold water diving, doesn't really count. And yeah, if you're in warm water, then yeah, it's against your skin. But if you're wearing it over a suit, you're not going to have that feature. Scuba Pro, they have their human factor diving, so that has a separate heart rate monitor belt, something that you put over your chest. I think that's a little bit better in that it actually affects your decompression algorithm. It's working out your workload, how much your body is working, and then it makes your decompression algorithm a little bit more conservative if you're working pretty hard, or a little bit more liberal if you're taking it sort of nice and easy and your skin temperature is nice and warm. But no, it's quite a rare feature on dive computers. It's not a really big thing yet.
So Sunso had one. I remember it was the D5. Because one of the old team before you worked here, he had one, and he used to take his heart monitor. It used to be a strap. And I'm just looking at Garmin. They obviously, for their running... Now, this isn't scuba diving, but they have heart rate monitors. So it wouldn't surprise me, like Mark said, give it a year or two, and they'll be able to connect that heart rate monitor to the descent, because it will just be algorithm. But yeah, it won't be the actual monitor itself won't come. It won't ever come from the dive computer, because like Mark said, it goes over the wrist of a wetsuit or a dry suit. But you actually attach it to your chest, and then you put garments over it. A lot of runners use it. A lot of cyclists use it.
Does the D5 have heart rate monitor?
Or I don't know if it was the D5, but I remember a Sunto. I remember
Because the D5 is pretty new.
I saw there was a Sunto, because it was the rage. Like when he got it, he was just like, oh wow, this is like one of the first ones that has a heart rate monitor. Again, this was, you're looking at eight years ago, at least, maybe a bit, maybe more 7. Literally, I think he got it maybe 6 months before he left and you joined.
Okay.
But yeah, it was one of those things, because I remember it vividly, because he got super excited about the fact that it had a heart rate monitor on it. But yeah, like obviously Mark was saying, like, you know, because as soon as you said, "Oh, Garmin's got it on the wrist," it's like, "Oh, they do it for they do it for like runners and stuff. They do it for the chest." So
all they do is just make it waterproof.
That's it. They'll just have to make it waterproof. I mean, the housings themselves, they can. It's I would assume it's pretty easily done. You can do it while, you know, charging it up. You do that through the wireless. You just make it a sealed unit. So it's just because as long as I don't know, we got the dual. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you got the swim. So you've got the HRM swim, which is a heart rate monitor for swimmers, obviously not scuba divers, because you've got to pressure test it, but already a waterproof heart rate monitor exists on Garmin, which connects via Bluetooth. Yeah, it's used by triathletes, which makes sense because that's what it is. But yeah, I'm guessing they've got to do tests on pressure in that sensor. But yeah, you're just trying to find out what that dive computer was, aren't you?
Yeah, it doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah, no.
Are you sure it was the Sunto?
Yeah,
because I know Uwatech had them.
Like I said, it was a couple of years ago, but
quite a few.
But it was one of the first ones that was just like, oh, actually, this has got a heart rate monitor. Again, if it was a Sunto, that might have been a heart rate monitor for, you know, it might have been like an all-activity sport rather than a scuba diving. That could be potential, but. My memory was just like, it's a watch and it's got a heart rate monitor. But
you've had a lot of coffee since then. No, it's not a huge thing with diving, probably because the technology to as Sean says, waterproof it. Takes time, and is the benefit and demand really there for heart rate monitors? I do like that human factor diving from Scuba Pro in that it does adjust your dive profile, but.
I was going to say, because wouldn't that do that? You have that heart rate monitor, and then they use that when it comes to, you know, your decompression and how you're reacting underwater. So then, because of your heart rate, it determines if you can have longer or a shorter time. Basically, the more information you get, potentially, it might make your diving that much safer.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Because I mean, normally with like conservatism in dive computers, you set it up at the beginning of the dive, and you set it to like 1, 2, or 3, or like +3 to -3, and it's up to you to kind of put whether you're feeling a little under the weather and make your dive computer a bit more conservative, or you feel perfectly fine, nice and warm and cozy and all that kind of stuff. So you set it to +3, but. With human factor diving, it's monitoring your skin temperature, so it knows, okay, you're at this like skin temperature and your heart rate is pretty chilled out, so it adjusts your decompression algorithm. So that's quite clever. I think in the future we're probably going to start seeing that roll out on more dive computers. Definitely.
With dive computers now becoming more advanced in terms of them becoming more of a rather than you buying like a Terric or whatever, you'll buy a Garmin or you'll buy a Sunto that you take swimming, you take running, you do triathlon, and you do scuba diving. That is the future. Because I remember when I first started working, it's just like doing all these battery changes and sealing all the batteries and like putting glue in and gel. And I'm like, what is, you know what I mean? Now it's all you don't even touch the battery. It's good that it's going it's evolving with the times, when it comes to smart meters and smartwatches. It's good. Yeah, man. What do you guys and girls think about heart rate monitors? Are they impactful? Should more diving companies have them? Will we see them more now that dive computers are becoming more, not generic, but they're more advanced, so then they can mingle in with the everyday smartwatch as well? So there's going to be lots of diving computers that are worn by people that don't actually dive potentially in the future. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on heart rate monitors below. That'd be cool. And normally that would be the end of the show, but we actually have a bonus question. And it's from, I'm going to get your name wrong now, I'm just going to say Mr. Natch. It's like Mr. Natchjukia.
Yeah,
Natchjukia. Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Natch. They say, can you explain to me, they don't actually say that, they say, can you explain what to do / when if rust actually has started to appear on a knife? You throw it away in the ocean, aim for a fish and buy a new one.
No, so yeah, it's more the important thing is to try and get it as early as possible. I'll do a video on this, and I just use a very gentle acid, something like vinegar or citric acid or something fairly gentle, and then soak it. So rust reacts with the acid and it kind of breaks it down, and then you can literally just kind of brush it off. If you have a quite deep pitted sort of rust, then yeah, you might have to soak it, scrub the surface with some like bicarbonate of soda mixed with some water just to sort of scrub it, get something a little bit of abrasion on that, and then soak it again. And but yeah, you can get off the shelf like rust remover gels and all that kind of stuff, but realistically just vinegar, nothing overly fancy, nothing what do you call it, like malt vinegar or something, just white vinegar. If you put it in like a glass or something, so it's upright and the blaze, and then just soak it so that can react with all of the rust. Or if you don't have that kind of stuff, or you don't have too much, you can get like a cloth, soak that in vinegar, and then wrap that around the blade, and that just holds the vinegar against it, creates that chemical reaction. And then, after it's nice and clean, you've got all the rust off, just coat it in some kind of like silicone grease, something hydrophobic, and make sure that all of the surface is kind of covered, so that the water can't get to it. And then, of course, between and after dives, check it, make sure it's nice and dry, flush it out with fresh water, and then dry it completely. But just a light, gentle acid, and then a little bit of scrubbing with a toothbrush.
Acid. That's just showing my age. I mean, check the metal of your knife. I did a video on it sort of a week or two ago, and look for something like 316. 304 is okay. 316 is a little bit better, or even much better is titanium, just because it can't rust. You could try, but it won't work, guys. It just won't work.
There's no iron in it.
Mate, when we were talking about 420 metals, I really wanted to some dope stuff and some weed stuff. I really wanted to do that. I thought best not.
Yeah, 420. You find it on the Aqualung Argonaut stunt knife. The big version, the Argonaut, that is titanium. That's just a single piece of 4mm titanium. But the smaller version, the stunt, is made out of 420. 420 is much more susceptible to rust, so it's quite a surprising metal. It's a bit stronger, so it holds an edge for much longer, but it rusts a lot faster. So what they did is they coated it in that black sort of PVD, so literally the water can't get to the surface, but you do have to be careful with that very cutting edge, because that is bare exposed steel, so you do have to make sure that that's nice and clean, because that will rust.
Yeah, a great one to prevent rust is blood, so just make sure you've got a nice bloody knife.
Put more iron on it for your hemoglobin.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Don't do that, guys. I'm only being silly. And that is it, though. That is Ask Mark. We are done for another episode. We are done for another week. Awesome. I want to try the outro, Mark. So if you've got a question for Mark, use the hashtag askmark. Why are you doing this, waving around? We are.
I don't know. I feel like I've been slouching a little bit.
Slouching.
So I was just stretching it out.
I got a slouch. If I put myself up, my head's cut out of the screen. So anyway, if you have a question for Mark, just use the hashtag askmark. So then we can track down your question. And then we can add it to the show. Please do that. If we talk about any products at all today, or if you want to buy some new products, don't forget to shop at SimplyScuba.com. We are the world's most leading dirt bike and mountain bike specialist scuba diving store.
Right.
I'm joking. No, we've got a ton.
We do have dirt bike bits.
Yeah, dirt bike bits. We've got a ton of Garmin, obviously, like Mark said earlier on in the video, and we've a massive drop of Mare stuff and Mare XR stuff. So yeah, go treat yourself before Christmas, or get it on that list, mate. Go over there, get your list, give it to your nanny, then she can go and buy you a brand new rebreather, which we don't sell yet.
No, we don't have the horizon.
I'm sure we will. But yeah, so yeah, go purchase it over there. We have our own merch as well. Our spring store. At the bottom of this video, you will see a little banner with some t-shirts and some stickers and some hoodies and stuff. So if you want to do us a solid and support the channel, go down there. Use the code SURFACE15. Shouldn't really mention this, but you'll get 15% off. That is SURFACE15 for 15% off of all purchases on our store, on our spring store. Obviously, if you like today's video, don't forget give it a thumbs up. If you know someone that has had an issue with the Mare XR activated heat suit thing, and they want to know the answer, and the answer is in the comments below, share this video as well. Please do that. The more information, the more help we can give every scuba diver, the better we're all going to be for it. And if you haven't already, which a majority of you aren't that are watching this right now, you are not subscribed to our channel, so you hit that subscribe button right now, or I won't do anything, but you'll feel bad.
There's not much we can do from here.
Yeah, one day you'll just be walking along, happy as Larry in your own world, and then boom, grey cloud over you, and you'll be like, I wish I subscribed.
I feel guilty.
I feel so guilty. Yeah, exactly. And when you feel that, that's the power of SimplyScuba. Well, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, everybody. And of course, safe diving.
Stay classy, scuba divers.